Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Cognitive Recalibration podcast. As always, I'm your host, Sravan. We got Tarun here with us.
Hey, everyone.
And we've got a special episode today. As usual, we're doing our annual Christmas episode. Usually you get 2 reviews from us. So we pick a Christmas movie each and we review one each. But this year you're getting double that. So you're getting 4, and that's because we've got 2 special guests joining us. Kireeti, who's
Keep it all in. Keep it all in.
who's very
enthusiastic
happy to be here. Yeah.
Leveled out the sound there for us.
Actually, that will help because I need to actually find the
sync everything
up. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
And Bhaskar, welcome back again.
Welcome back.
So historically, the best episodes, some of the greatest episodes on cognitive recalibration, have happened with both of these guys on there. So
I'm a fucking legend. I don't know about you, Bhaskar.
Hey, we have chemistry, man. That's what.
What have we been? What have we been?
So we did the super coach, the Avengers super coach thing with you two,
We like pick our teams and versus
Oh,
each other.
yeah.
Where you-
like,
Fist the
smoke the
wackest
crap
thing.
out of
where you
Hawkeye.
almost
Hawkeye.
argued that Hawkeye beats Doctor Strange.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember they were like, this is not an argument. We're not having this debate. Like,
No, I got away with that. I don't know how.
And I guess I think you also came on for the Endgame spoilers episode, which was
nice.
one of our best episodes as well. All right, we'll do our usual thing. So we've all picked a movie each, and we'll spend about 5 to 10 minutes talking about each one. I will start this time. So I watched a movie from released by Amazon a couple of years ago, 2022. It's called Something from Tiffany's, referring to Tiffany, the jewelry store, Tiffany's.
Nice.
So it's starring Zoe Douche as one of the leads. It's a romantic comedy. The other lead is Kendrick Sampson. I'm not sure if anyone's heard of him. I hadn't seen him before. And it also has Shay Mitchell as in a supporting role. But what it's basically about is it starts off in a Tiffany store, and it's about the main male lead who goes in to buy an engagement ring for his fiancée or for his girlfriend at the time. So her boyfriend's also there. So her boyfriend's gone in not to buy an engagement ring. He went in to buy some earrings because he is a tattoo artist. So he's not, firstly, they're not ready to get engaged, and also he can't afford an engagement ring. But what happens is, as he walks out, he bumps into Kendrick. Oh, he bumps into his daughter, actually. So Kendrick has a daughter from a previous marriage. His wife passed away, so now he's dating Shay Mitchell. So that's the backstory. He bumps into him, and then he gets hit by a taxi. So Gary, the boyfriend, he gets hit by a taxi, and
I'm already confused.
Kendrick goes to help Gary. When he goes to help him, they switch bags. So he gets Gary's bag, and Gary gets Kendrick's bag.
Here we go.
And that's where the story unfolds. So Kendrick takes Gary to the hospital. He meets Zoe there, and they end up having a coffee, and they connect. There's a connection there, immediate connection, and they spend a bit of time together.
So
And
she's still with her boyfriend.
she's still with her boyfriend, and he's planning to get engaged. Christmas Day comes.
Wow, this is very controversial. Yeah.
This is where the Christmas part of the story comes. So on Christmas Day, he was planning to propose to Shay. And on Christmas Day, Gary was going to give Zoe the earrings. So that was the whole plan. And this is all set in New York. So Kendrick actually forced Shay to come to New York for Christmas to propose to her. So they actually live in LA. What happens is, obviously, Shay opens the box and it's the earrings, and she's like, "Oh, this is beautiful. Thanks for getting me this gift." Zoe opens the box and it's an engagement ring. And Gary, on the spot, like, he looks at it and is like, it's obviously not what he bought, but on the spot he proposes to her, and they get engaged with
Oh shit,
with
man.
the other, basically not her ring.
Interesting.
Um,
So they had to make the best of the situation.
yes,
What was the reaction of the first guy who gave it? He was expecting.
he's like,
the-
"Oh wait," like, he didn't want to tell her.
Yeah.
And then he backtracks in his mind, and then he figures out, oh, the bags must have been switched.
Right.
And obviously he's already met Zoe, so he goes to meet Zoe again, and he finds the ring on her. He sees the ring on her finger, and he couldn't bring himself to tell her that that's not her ring. And meanwhile, Gary's just going along with it. He's like, "Yep, I've bought the ring for
Which one's of more value?
the ring." the ring.
So this guy's an asshole.
I would have.
Like that's ridiculous.
Like, what did he buy?
He bought like these earrings, which are like the cheap earrings.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So even Zoe's like surprised because she's like, "How did he afford this ring?" But she also goes along with it. And then Kendrick and Zoe end up having a few more meetings because he's trying to figure out a way to tell her. Essentially, he's actually trying to meet Gary because he's like he can speak with Gary directly and get him to
somehow own up
Yeah.
for the mistake
Yeah.
and exchange the goods.
but then they end up like inadvertently having a few more dates, and in the meantime,
This is all dodgy. This is so dodgy.
and in the meantime, he gets Shay and his daughter to, I think he like buys musical tickets for them, and initially Shay's like, "Oh, we're going on a date together," and it's like, "No, it's actually going to be a girls' night. You two go." So that he could go meet Zoe and try to get the ring again.
Oh yeah, okay. But then
It's
that looks,
so
but
dodgy.
that looks very dodgy from their perspective. Like
What
this,
do you mean
Yeah.
it looks dodgy? This whole thing's dodgy.
Eventually, it all unfolds because basically Zoe finds out. She goes to the Tiffany store, and then the person who sold them the ring, she's like, "I never forget who I sell rings to." She remembers the daughter's name,
Bullshit.
so she remembers like, "Oh, Daisy was."
They must not sell many rings.
Well, Tiffany's
Like,
are
who's the
pretty.
idiot who bought this ring?
I've sold 2 rings in 18 years.
They are pretty exclusive.
what is this, Fionor or bloody like
Yeah.
the maker of the magic rings? He knows exactly what he makes. And
Bloody Sauron over here.
Yeah.
So anyway, she basically spills the beans because she's like, "Oh, a father and a daughter came to buy the ring, and the daughter picked the ring, and the daughter's name was Daisy because Zoe's already met Daisy. So she's like, "Oh, it must have been Kendrick that bought the ring, and the rings must have got switched somehow." So she figures it out, and then she confronts Gary, and Gary's like, "Oh, they must have got switched. I didn't buy the ring," and he confesses.
yeah,
And then they're all on the same page now because Kendrick comes and so she works at a bakery and he comes to the bakery and they sort things out and everything's clear now. So they know, but the engagement's still on. So Zoe still wants to get engaged, or Gary and Zoe are still engaged.
Right.
So they're planning an engagement party for New Year's Eve. And
This is meant to be a Christmas movie, man. You've already got to New Year's Eve.
the Christmas comes back. Don't worry.
It comes back.
Yeah.
Bro, even before Christmas, I hated this movie.
Yeah.
Now we're past all this
they
holiday.
just haven't taken the tree down yet. So
Then Zoe finds out that, this whole mishap happened and she bakes. So Daisy comes into the bakery and they bake a piece of bread together and Zoe purposely puts the ring in the bread, so in between the loaf, and she gives the loaf to Kendrick.
why?
So that when he eats it, he'll die.
So,
My dad.
so I don't know how
Guy's
she.
choking on like a $20,000 ring.
Yeah.
So I don't know how she.
You
planned
die in
this.
luxury.
That's so wait. So the thing is baked. She takes it, just puts it in there.
No, she while she's like making the dough, she puts it in the middle and then bakes
She
it.
bakes the ring inside.
Yeah.
I
It's
don't
like
think
a
the ring.
$30,000 ring. She bakes it in the
I
oven.
don't think the ring would get affected.
Yeah,
though.
the ring doesn't.
Yeah.
Bro, the ring doesn't get melted by
No.
the
The diamond might not, but the gold will get seriously like degraded, or whatever it is,
200
whatever the
degrees?
band is.
Really?
Would it?
200
I thought it
degrees?
would have to get hotter.
What's melting point of
This is
gold?
not the one ring you got to pour into Mountain Dew.
I didn't-
This is like a ring.
No,
from
melting
Tiffany.
point. No, melting point of gold's way more.
This is like the whole like 9/11 conspiracy. You don't have to get it up to melting temperature to actually compromise the structure.
Sure, but is it going to melt? Like,
No. You'll get. I'm just thinking like that's not how you treat a ring.
1,000 degrees.
1,000 degrees. Our oven will get up to like 195.
Yeah.
200.
So she was baking. She was baking pieces. Obviously, the director did all this research.
but the
that's why-
concern isn't the fact that he baked the ring. It's like, why did you even try? It's a stupid way to give back a ring, right?
Yeah. So
She could have also just given it to him.
Yeah, she could have just given.
Here's
So
the
she
thing.
doesn't. She also doesn't tell him that the ring's in the loaf. So he takes the loaf, and him and Shay are having dinner with Daisy, and somehow she planned it so that it just works out so that Shay and Kendrick are trying to pull
The
the
bread
loaf, and they both pull it, and it falls apart, and the ring falls down, and then she's like, "Oh my god, this is a beautiful ring," and then he proposes to her.
Oh,
right.
wonderful.
So now they're engaged. Gary and Zoe are engaged.
How is this ever going to? My God.
This is shit.
I know.
I mean, that's incredible.
In the next 2.5 minutes, if you don't tell me how they break apart, who cheats on who?
And this
How does it work
is
out?
about 3/4 through the movie. So this is getting
Okay,
to
we're getting close to the end. I
This
thought
is-
we were like halfway through. I'm like,
this is going into
bad.
the third.
I thought this
act.
was in the credits scene. You know, they put in that last epilogue, like little scene in the.
This is the prologue, bro.
So next, what happens is they're planning their engagement party, Zoe and Gary, for New Year's Eve, and this is when they introduce a character that basically ruins everything, and I'll get to him in a second. So it's Gary's friend, but meanwhile, Shay calls the bakery, Zoe's bakery, and she's like, "Oh, we want a reservation for New Year's Eve night." And Zoe's friend, who was across this whole thing, so she was across the whole thing that happened with Kendrick and all of that, and they actually booked out the bakery for Zoe and Gary's engagement party. So technically, they shouldn't be taking any guests. But her friend, knowing Gary and Zoe, she tells them to come anyway. So she's like, "Oh, we can fit you in. We'll get you a table for 3 on New Year's Eve." So New Year's Eve comes. They walk in, Shay and Kendrick, and they see Zoe and Gary, because of this Gary's friend dude who actually spills the beans about Gary. So apparently when Zoe met Gary, it was to get a tattoo. So she was getting a tattoo from Gary, and she left one of her...
Let me guess.
Yeah?
He was dating Shay.
No, they don't know each other. Shay's from LA.
Okay.
Zoe and Shay were dating.
Correct.
So she has like a bracelet from her mum, and she left it in the tattoo studio when she was getting a tattoo.
Oh,
and
shit, Gary stole it, man.
And she forgot it. And then she thought that Gary came all the way to Queens to give her the bracelet, because she went back to the station and that's where Gary was. And he gave her back the bracelet. So she's like, "Oh, he's a really good guy." And that's when they started dating. But apparently, according to his friend who spills the beans, is Gary actually went there for his ex, and he just happened to run into Zoe. So he didn't actually come for her at all. It just happened to be a meeting that just coincidentally happened.
That was when they first started dating. So
They hadn't even started dating. That was the reason for them to start dating.
Yeah,
That was the whole reason why.
How does that make them break up?
That doesn't make him break up.
No.
It means that
Do we even know? So what?
He originally was supposed to go get back with his ex, and then he met this girl.
Yeah.
And then or whatever. Like the story is, then
So
he's
why
decided on.
Why does that make them break up?
So-
do they break
But
up?
this movie sucks.
They definitely break up.
Yeah.
Funny if this doesn't have like no one ends up as a couple, like they all just break up. At the end of the movie.
So Kendrick asked her in one of their impromptu dates, like, why she likes Gary. And the reason she told him was because of this, because he came all the way back with a really expensive bracelet to give it back to her. So it shows that he's committed, and he, like, despite his flaws, he's a good person. But then this basically contradicts the whole reason that she was dating him.
It just pulls the Jenga piece out where
Yeah.
she's built this
How
whole
long have they
future
been
on this
dating
guy.
for?
3 years?
So in 3 years, that's the only thing she liked about him. And that was the first thing that he did.
Like his character, no. Like how he looks, no.
That's a very interesting point. She built this foundation of trust and hope on a story, and now that little piece was pulled out, none of that 3 years means anything.
And I guess the whole fact that he lied about the ring, because she forgave him about that, but I think this was the tipping point where...
I mean, this guy just steals shit.
Yeah.
Like
So I guess like
he's stolen like 2 things that are really expensive.
she
Yeah.
tolerated him about lying about the ring, but I think this was
Turns out he's
breaking
just a
point.
thief. That's like exactly.
So she breaks up with him shortly.
Ocean's 11.
She breaks up with him shortly before Shay and Kendrick walk into the bakery for their dinner. So they walk in, and then Zoe and Gary walk out, and they're basically just facing each other. And then Zoe's like, "Oh, what are they doing here?" Because she didn't do the reservation. It was their friend. And then their friend's like, "Oh, this played out completely differently in my mind." And then Gary's like, "Oh, what's he doing here? Like, did you invite him to our engagement party?" And then Shay's like, "What is going on? Like, do you know them? What's all this?" And then the truth sort of comes out, because Gary says that, or did he come back for the ring? Well, he mentions something about the ring,
Right.
and then Shay holds on to that, and she's like, "Oh, wait, were you meant to propose to me? Like, did you actually buy the ring for me?" So they end up leaving, and they get into an argument.
Well, I
Yeah,
thought Shay already knew that at
but
this
he
point.
did actually buy the ring for
He
her.
did actually buy the ring for her,
So then what's the argument about?
but she was confused as to whether he actually wanted to propose to her, because Zoe said,
You bought the ring.
You bought the ring for it. Well, you want to buy a ring.
So
you want to
but
propose.
buy the ring first and then decide if you're going to propose to her, right?
So-
Yeah. Well, I can't afford
Wait.
that
She
sort
was
of life.
hung up. That character was hung up on the fact that this guy. She didn't know if he was ready to propose.
"Yeah."
He bought the ring.
She's hung up on the fact that someone stole the ring off this guy. She's like,
Hung up
"How
on the-
dare you get stolen from?"
Hang up on the fact that the way it came out of bread and she didn't like the
Yeah.
bread. Because the
Bhaskar.
integrity of the ring was spoiled by 200 degrees Celsius.
There's no one here who's like green flag. Everyone's got some weird shit. Some people putting rings in bread. People like not.
Shay is from LA, so
Shay's from LA. She's got some weird hang up about not knowing when this dude's
yeah.
proposing.
So I think she was like, "Oh, did you accidentally propose to me just because it was in the loaf?" Like I think she wasn't sure if he was ready to propose. Turns out he wasn't. So they get back to the apartment and both of them have a conversation. And she's like, "You know what's the deal?" And so he's a writer and he's been writing a book, and he hasn't told her about it because I think he wrote a book in
It's
it.
about Zoe.
It's Harry Potter.
It's a direct copy.
J.K. Rowling in drag.
So apparently
You idiot. You idiot. We're breaking up. You can't just copy a book and sell it again.
So he's a writer. He's a writer. So he's a failed writer. So he already wrote a book which didn't do well. He's writing another book which he didn't tell her about.
Failed writer is a bit harsh. He's not successful.
Yeah.
Failed writer is very harsh. He just failed, bro.
In her mind. And apparently he didn't tell her because she never took his writing seriously. So she would always be like change the topic or be a bit dismissive about it. And he's from New York. So he wants to move back to New York with his daughter. And this is her words exactly. She says, "I hate New York. I don't want to live here. I literally can't like stay here for even a holiday."
New York is the greatest town of all time.
Me and Shay might get along. No,
So then they decide to break up. They think that the engagement's not going to work. She gives back the ring. She leaves. She goes back to LA. They stay in New York. Obviously, Gary and Zoe are definitely broken up now, so they're well and truly done. And then Daisy, the daughter, the next day, immediately after the breakup, she's like, "Did you like that Zoe girl?" And like he doesn't say
Yes,
anything.
I do.
And like so, Zoe and Daisy do.
No. And
So-
Zoe likes me back. No.
That's
No.
too much.
Oh, shit.
Too much. It's not that kind
Oh,
of movie.
shit.
So Zoe and Daisy connect when they're making bread because obviously Daisy's mother also passed away when she was a child, and Zoe's mother also passed away when she was a child. So they have some connect there. And Daisy's like, she's a white girl, but she knows how to cook, Dad. And that's what.
Why did
Con-
you-
Oddly
say-
racist.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Interesting
girl.
dialogue.
Yeah.
Why'd you pick that dialogue?
just stuck in my
That's
mind.
what shocked you.
Oh, I'm guessing because Shay's, she's black, so it's obvious
Yeah.
contrast.
Yeah, and they're
But she knows how to cook, so she's
But
she's green.
bakes.
So it's like,
She's baking. She's not cooking.
She's a.
she
yeah,
also
well,
she also
a
has
baker is a
category-
cook. You're not going to start that flame war on this. People look like
No,
nail
I
us-
mean, like, white people bake. It's a thing.
Anyway,
All right, you can cut this out.
so
That's going in the edit.
what
Okay.
happens is they end up sending her flowers with a note saying that meet me near Brooklyn Bridge by 4 p.m. if
is
you
yeah.
if you felt the same way that I
It's
did.
like Sleepless in Seattle.
And turns out they send her the flowers, but Kendrick has this other thing where he always forgets his phone. So he forgot his phone, so he can't call her, and he doesn't even know if
He
it's
can't get
been
an Uber.
he doesn't even know if it's been delivered. And meanwhile, Daisy has this thing that she doesn't have a phone, and she's like, if you bought me a phone, I could have called. And
But Daisy's like 4.
no, she's like 12, maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
still too young for a smartphone.
Yeah, she's like, maybe 12, 13. But Zoe ends up coming. She ends up getting it a bit late, so they end up staying around a bit later than what was planned. But
It's like Sleepless in Seattle.
she turns up, and then they're happy. They get together.
Wow.
They get married, they have a kid.
Then it switches to 1 year later. So next Christmas,
Oh, before the time skip, how much time has passed between Gary and Zoe breaking up and then fucking Kendrick
3.5 hours.
messaging Zoe?
like a couple of days. They're still in
That
New
is
York.
wild. That's
Yeah.
wild.
No, wait, they've been broken up for a bit long.
It's the same day, yeah? They
Same
broke up
day.
on the
Same
same
day.
day.
Same
Same
day.
day
Same
after
day.
the restaurant.
Same
All
day.
right.
But,
Yeah.
but they
I hate
technically
this
didn't
movie.
get together. They just do
So what,
the.
they get together and ending
They
credits?
get together.
Please.
Credits.
What's the end credits scene?
So they're just
And they get broken up before it finishes.
so 1 year later, Christmas Eve.
They get engaged.
Halloween.
So he's still got the ring. He's still got the ring that he bought for Shay. And then he proposes to Zoe with that ring on Christmas Eve. So
I guess you have to.
He's
don't
got the ring. What's he gonna do with it?
It's got the
He's
history
you?
and
He
the
can't. It's already integrity's gone. So
yeah, but the bacon
can't sell it
they
back.
got resale values down. So yeah,
Oh,
and
man.
they're engaged, and that's where the movie ends, and everyone's happy.
so we don't hear about what happens to Gary.
I'll tell you who's not happy.
There.
That guy.
Just put my face in the credits and go, this dude's not happy.
But the thing is that one dude, the friend that turns up, Gary's friend, he's the one that basically unravels the whole thing.
yeah,
Because if he hadn't told Zoe about how they actually met up,
this would have just gone on.
yeah, he would have gone on.
Silently.
And that guy just he never appears again. He's in one scene. That's it.
Oh, perfect.
Interesting. So what's the moral of this story?
There's no
nothing.
bro.
Don't
this-
worry about it.
There's
It
not.
sucks.
There's not bloody panchatantra.
Yeah,
Just eat 'em
it's,
all, bro.
Jesus died for our sins. That's the moral of the story. No, I'm joking.
No, just.
I hope
died.
the movie's better than what you explained it to me because that was shit.
So
I presume
something
it's
from
not a very popular movie. Is it?
something from Tiffany's. It's a straight to Prime. It's a
Yeah.
Prime production.
Breakfast at Tiffany's is better, and I haven't seen Breakfast at Tiffany's.
I just want to see the storyboarding of this. You know how they have like the storyboard lines and how the different things
I
weave
want to see
together.
the water.
This would be like a whole like tapestry of like plot lines, more complex than Lord of the Rings, like in one movie.
But it's a romantic comedy. I think people who like romantic comedies will probably enjoy it. It is very loosely Christmas though. I think we should rate these movies that we're talking
It
about.
doesn't sound very.
Yeah,
Christmassy.
it's the only thing that's Christmas about it is he proposes to her on Christmas Day
In New York.
in
It's
New
like-
York. Yeah, like that. There's not that much Christmas elements around it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that was an adventure. That was like a ride.
Yeah. So sorry, I took like 20 minutes to explain that, but that is my movie.
I'm
for
actually
this year.
impressed you explained that in 20 minutes. That could have taken the whole movie time.
But I saved you
Should
watching
have
it.
taken 2 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm not going to explain my one in that much depth.
The fact you're so passionate about this story.
I loved
I
it.
think he loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite movies.
All-time favorites.
Yeah.
This is the
Yeah.
4th time he's seen it.
Yeah.
You gave it the double thumbs up on Amazon Prime.
Well, I guess I talk about Red One, which I think is the most recent release out
I've
of.
seen trailers for that one. I still have no idea what that's about.
I guess I could tell you a little bit. So this is starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson,
Oh, amazing.
Chris Evans,
Average.
J.
Jonah Jameson.
I was going to say J. Jonah Jameson. That's not his name.
J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons.
Yeah.
Yep. Kernan Shipka,
Oh, yeah.
Lucy Liu. It's headlined by Dwayne Johnson and Chris Evans, who are the two main leads.
2 Avengers.
Pretty. No, Dwayne Johnson's not an Avenger.
He's Black Adam.
He's Black Adam.
Basically an
It's a
Avenger.
No, he's in the
different-
Avengers.
So this is his follow-up after Black Adam, isn't it? Did he do something between now and Black Adam?
Fast 11.
Oh, yeah, he's in the
Yeah, he
he's
was
in
in
the
the
end
end
credit
credits for
scene
that.
of
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
I just guessed. I haven't seen it.
Oh, wow.
But
10,
this is his
not 11.
Yeah.
We haven't
I
had
was about to say
11.
11 hasn't come out.
Yeah.
So I was like, what are you guys talking about?
but this is his first full movie afterwards. He produced it as well, along with Warner Brothers and Universal, I think. So I guess story-wise, pretty simple. I keep thinking J. Jonah Jameson. What's his name?
J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons.
Yeah,
J.K. Simmons. J. Jonah Jameson is the news reporter in
He's from
Spider-Man who
Yeah.
he plays.
I'll give $1,000 for any pictures of Spider-Man. Yeah, like
So
In every
J.K.
universe.
Simmons plays Santa Claus.
Mm.
oh, no way.
And it's like this universe. There's a bit of lore behind it. It's this universe where like Santa Claus is like a military operation, and Dwayne Johnson's essentially
Did you make a kids? This is a kids movie.
it's a Christmas movie. It's
It's a Christmas
yeah,
movie, but
yeah.
it's a kids movie. If you have
Kind of,
if you have
yeah.
lore behind Santa, it's got to be right.
It's I would say it's not for like
Is it better than
young kids.
Is it better than Polar Express?
Probably not.
I don't like Polar Express, so
Correct.
yeah,
Blasphemy.
I
Absolute blasphemy.
don't
the
like
graphics are cooked.
I don't like Polar Express because I think
It's a stuff of
it's
nightmares, mate.
Uncanny Valley kind of shit. Yeah.
Mm.
It's got lore behind it. Like the Dwayne Johnson's like the head of the security for Santa Claus. It's like a military operation. He goes around and delivers all the gifts, but he's like also like got a super powerful. He's got like energy off him or some shit. His brother is Krampus, and there's an evil witch, who's the villain of the movie,
Played
essentially.
by-
Kernan Shipka. Yeah.
Oh.
So she's the.
So who's Lucy Liu?
So there's like a CIA type agency called can't remember. It's called something, but they instead of being like a CIA, they take care of like mystical beings,
Yeah.
and she's the head of that.
Right.
Yeah. This movie sucks. it's,
Is it a new movie? It's new?
it's brand new. It just
Oh,
came
came
out
out
this
like
week.
yesterday.
No.
Oh
Yeah.
shit.
Oh,
Um,
no.
There you go.
I think it could have been good. Like if you think about it, it could have been like a good kids movie, and there's there is some story behind it. It's directed by the guy that did the Jumanji movies, which are actually quite good.
The new Jumanjis.
The new Jumanjis, yep. Both of them are pretty good, and obviously he has a existing relationship with Dwayne Johnson. The problem is, you would think that the thing that would have to sell this movie is Chris Evans and Dwayne Johnson and their partnership together, but I think they hate each other. I don't know what it is, but there is zero chemistry between both of them, and both of them like look like they hate being there together.
Really?
Yeah. And I don't know if you heard the behind the scenes of this movie, but apparently Dwayne Johnson like came late to set by like 4 hours every day. And like
So they probably did hate each other then.
I don't know how true it is.
That is wild. That's
but
not like his stories from other movies where he's always like disciplined on set early. He works out before every take and everything like that. Like 4 hours late sounds
so
like it's wild.
The budget of this movie apparently got blown out of proportion. Like it's insanely expensive.
Really?
Just because like it was shot for an extended period. I thought it would look worse because it is a streaming movie that they did release.
It was meant to be Apple TV.
It was meant to be Apple TV.
Yeah.
And I thought it would look worse. The CGI is not terrible. It could be worse. But the main thing is it's not very funny, and it's meant to be a comedy. Chris Evans is somewhat charismatic, but Dwayne Johnson's playing like a plank of wood, and they don't like
Well,
that.
it's The Rock, so
Yeah, but like I don't know, he is charismatic in some movies.
inanimate objects.
He's
That's how he acts like.
Yeah. Although, like in Central Intelligence, he was hired to be that, just like emotionless, but like a big kind of stoic figure that has comedic lines. But
Central
Kevin Hart
Intelligence
takes
sucks.
off the edge of that. So that's
Is that
weird.
the Kevin Hart one?
Kevin
Yeah,
Hart
the
one.
Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
And the one where he was a fat kid at the start, right?
Yeah.
he's like very stoic in this. Like doesn't like
Like Black Adam.
pretty much. Yeah, like very stoic. And some people laughed like maybe 3 or 4 times in my theater. I didn't laugh once.
Or you watch this in theaters.
I watched it. I watched it. in
That's even
theaters today.
worse.
Yeah, it was a full
Yesterday?
theater today.
Oh,
I
today?
watched it
Oh,
today.
today.
Oh no.
It was a full theater as well. I was surprised. There was like lots of people there. It's just not very good. The only thing I did like is there's this part where they go see Krampus, and Krampus is the brother of Santa Claus.
Interesting.
So they think Krampus kidnapped. The essential story is Chris Evans a normal bloke, but he's like, they don't even really explain it properly, but he's like a hacker and he can find anyone in the world. And they employ him to go find Santa after he's got kidnapped. He gets kidnapped on Christmas Eve. So they have to find him in like 24 hours so he can deliver the presents. And they think Krampus kidnaps him.
Who plays Krampus?
It is a guy that you may know. It's some Russian bloke, I think. Christopher Hijvu. He's the guy from Game of Thrones.
Oh, he's not Russian. He's Scandinavian, right?
Scandinavian, yeah. So he plays Krampus, but it's some of the they don't rely too heavily on CGI, which is why I think it looks good. But he's got like a practical effect on him where they do like makeup and everything. It looks pretty good. But that part was good where they go to a castle and it's in the trailer, you can see it, but they do like a slap game. Have you guys seen this thing? It's like a Russian thing where
Of the competitions.
Oh, you
like-
like you slap
yeah.
each other until one of them passes out. or
one of the
something.
parts
Yeah,
they
Dan-
do- yeah.
Dana White now has that. He's like bought into that stuff. He's trying to bring it into like MMA.
Yeah.
It's mad. It's like the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
But they do
It's like who can concuss and give each other encephalopathy the quickest.
Oh,
exactly.
Who
Yeah.
can ruin each other's lives the quickest.
So who does the slap game?
The Rock and
Chris
Krampus.
Evans.
Yeah.
Oh, Krampus.
And Krampus is like, do you guys know how Krampus looks?
Is it like a 9-foot beast that's just
Yeah.
like with horns and shit?
Yeah,
and blackface. Or is that the
No,
other
just,
one that
just
I'm
think of
thinking
a no.
No,
That's like that's the Dutch
That's
one.
the Dutch one.
Think
that
of
you're
like an
thinking
evolved
yeah.
Mr.
You're thinking of
Tumnus.
The Office. When,
Yeah, the Office one.
Yeah, essentially, that was the only part I liked because they had like a whole castle set up and it looked good. It reminded me of that Dungeons and Dragons movie.
Oh, yeah.
It was kind of like
That's
that.
what it looked like in the trailer as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's like an emotional element to the movie, which it's Chris Evans has a son and he's like an absentee father, which is like a classic Christmas movie trope where there's always an absentee father.
like
But-
in the Santa Claus.
Yeah, this movie is a bit Santa Claus-esque. Just with like when they go to the North Pole and they do all the North Pole stuff, it's Santa Claus-esque. But there's a kid and he's an absentee father, but the kid's in it for 2 scenes, and that's meant to be the emotional crux of the movie. And then at the end, it's like a happy reunion with the son, but you see him twice in the whole movie, and like no one cares. It's very poorly
It
written.
sucks.
Yeah.
That's wild. Do you think this was written during the SAG-AFTRA strike?
Well, technically it can't be because you can't write during the strike. I think
Oh,
it
no,
was
no, as
shot-
in they would hire.
Impacted. I
they-
think
they
it might
wrote
have
it
been.
it was
themselves.
shot
As in
during
they
that time. It
As in
would
I
have
think
been-
they started shooting before it.
Well,
but
they could have just written it.
No, there were a lot of productions that hired non-SAG-AFTRA writers.
Possibly,
I think it
yeah.
would have been impacted.
Well, the
by it,
producers just
yeah.
wrote it themselves.
Yeah.
Which often is what happens.
I think it would have been impacted by it for sure.
Definitely. It was shot during that time.
Yeah. Because there's like a wave of like.
Because I think
CG
a
films
lot of
coming
the
out.
movies that have come out this year have been a little bit mediocre because of that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
directly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This movie, I guess if you see Chris Evans and Dwayne Johnson, you probably expect something at least decent. But yeah, I think they pretty much did it for a paycheck and they just breezed through it. Yeah.
So my question is it better than that Ryan Reynolds Rock movie? What was that one?
I actually prefer
X-Men
that.
Wolverine.
No, it's Red Notice.
Red Notice.
I prefer Red Notice over this. Yeah.
Okay.
I think Red Notice was actually decent. But also, this movie might be okay if you didn't go to the cinema and watch it. And if you just watch it at home on streaming, you may, like as a streaming movie, you may be like, yeah, this is fine, whatever. Christmas, like Santa Claus shit. Like, I'll be happy with that. But going to the theater to watch this is definitely not worth it. But yeah, it's an interesting time in the Rock's career because he's had quite a few setbacks. I think he put a big emphasis on Black Adam, and he thought that would be his role that he could kind of ride going forward, but that sunk, and he hasn't really had a hit in the recent times. That
I think his
people
last
have
one was
actually
probably Jumanji, that second Jumanji movie.
the second Jumanji, which
Yeah.
is probably not based off him himself. It's like the
Yeah.
ensemble cast.
Oh, he had Jungle Cruise, which probably wasn't.
No, I don't think that was a hit either.
Yeah.
Like a lot of his things that he wanted to be a hit didn't end up actually, forming.
doing well.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's an interesting time in his career where I think he has to start making something good.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he's kind of done.
I think even Chris Evans is in a bit of a when's he had what was his last good movie?
So I think Chris Evans actually doing more directing, and like he's into that a bit more. I assume he did this movie for a fat paycheck, and that was it.
Yeah.
But I think
Yeah.
the difference is Chris Evans has he
Yeah,
has the Marvel movies of it's kind of like career setting. So there's no pressure for him to really do other stuff.
anything,
And
yeah.
what's that movie that one with Ryan Gosling, what's it called again?
Notebook.
And
Gray
Chris
Man.
Evans.
Gray Man.
Gray Man, the Gray Man.
Yeah.
He was pretty good
You're
in
not
that.
wrong. He's in
Just the first thing that came to my head was just.
Yeah, man, chill out. Why are you watching that, man?
I'm never watching that again.
Also, I think Chris Evans did a TV show I think he's got
Yeah,
an
he-
Apple deal.
Yeah,
He did
Oh, he
that
did that
TV
TV
show
show,
where his
yeah.
son.
which apparently is shit.
No, apparently it's good.
No, terrible reviews, right?
Is it? Which one? The one where his son's is it defending Jacob or something?
Yeah.
Is that it?
Oh no,
Yeah.
he did another thing for Apple, didn't he?
Yeah, so
He
he,
did
did
that,
another movie. He did a
Ghosted
movie
movie.
with Anna Diarra.
Ghosted.
Him.
Yeah,
that
that
was
one's
bad.
bad.
That's
That was
bad.
bad.
Yeah.
So he must have a deal with Apple because he's done this defending Jacob.
Is this
and
also an Apple?
Yeah,
This is an Apple.
Yeah.
Oh, it will
Yeah.
be in that.
It will be, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But Dwayne Johnson he said he wouldn't return to Fast and Furious, but obviously because his career's taken a nosedive, he's coming back to that. And he's doing a live action Moana movie, which basically going back to the
He'll
well
be in
of-
Moana too.
Huh?
He'll be
and
in
he'll be in
Moana
Moana
too.
too.
Yeah.
So he's basically going back to the well of stuff that's worked for him in the past.
Yeah.
And he is doing a Ben Safdie movie as well, which is going to be interesting to see if he can actually act properly.
Is that the A24?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, interesting times for Dwayne Johnson where, yeah, I didn't think this movie would be good. But it's definitely not going to help him because it's not going to make much money.
Yeah.
But they probably sold it to Apple for his production company will be fine. But I think his career is gonna look different if he doesn't make a good movie soon.
And look, if all else fails, you could always go back to wrestling. You know,
He tried that, so he went back to wrestling.
He intimately goes. I think he's still connected.
But he went back to wrestling and he tried to insert. I don't follow wrestling, but apparently he tried to insert himself into like an ongoing storyline that they already had, and he came in at the end and tried to become like the main character.
yeah.
And everyone hated it.
Yeah,
and everyone like.
I think the memes
he
are now
got
past.
into- He got into stage and everyone was like booing him. So like, I don't even think he can go back to that.
And you can't be, unless you show dedication to like wrestling
Yeah.
and do what you need to do, you can't just like come in and steal the spotlight.
Because that's why John Cena stopped as well, right?
John Cena stopped.
Yeah.
Dave Bautista stopped.
Yeah.
So I think inversely, if you look at Dave Bautista, he's done lots of good stuff following him leaving wrestling. He's done lots of diverse stuff where he doesn't necessarily need to be the main character.
Blade Runner 2047 as well. He was
June.
Yeah.
June. Oh Jesus, yeah.
And he's done like M. Night Shyamalan movies and like
Marvel.
Marvel
That was a
stuff.
weird movie.
Yeah.
That knocking
Knock at the Cabin, but like
That
he's
was
done
a
different
weird movie,
stuff.
but-
Yeah,
At least he can act. To be honest, he doesn't always act the same either. The Rock acts the same. There's very few bloody.
Yeah. Some
And I
people get
think-
typecast.
and
so they just
he's got.
But he needs to.
Another
find a way-
rumor is that he's got these things in his contract where he has to be the main character, top bill. He's top billing in this movie, but Chris Evans probably has more screen time,
Yeah.
which is interesting.
How do you know he's top billing?
Comes
Because
up
his
first,
name comes
yeah.
first.
Oh, is that always the thing?
That's
Yeah.
the thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's a very old thing. Yeah. It's just like
Wow. What the
Uh,
hell? I never realized.
So he has to be like top billing. He has to always win a fight. He can't lose a fight in a movie. And
I thought that was a Vin Diesel thing.
That's
It's both
also
of them.
Vin Diesel. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why they can't make a movie together.
yeah, so and if he gets punched a certain amount of times, he has to punch the other person more
Like, that's a
times
Chiranjeevi thing.
than he gets punched. Yeah, it's some weird areas. And the other
That's why all these guys
that's
suck.
fascinating.
the other rumors is that like he isn't being good on set. Like he's working out like 8 hours a day and like going to the gym excessively and not showing up to set on time, essentially.
If any other actor was doing that in Hollywood, you'd be shit canned.
Yeah.
Like within a day.
Yeah.
It's so hard now to make it as an actor.
He was at one point
Well, I think
the
he
highest
has
paid
a-
actor in the world. But and like he
Which
was,
is weird as well. Like, is there anything to show for that? Not really.
like I don't think he's got like a really good movie. Like
Do like
yeah.
it's to do with production and that sort of stuff. As in
Well-
like the high budget.
His claim
Yes,
to
yeah.
fame is like the Fast and Furious movies because that's what.
Is it?
Yeah, like
Well,
Fast
not
5.
claim to fame.
I think that Fast 5 was what brought him back. Like I think Fast 5 was the one that.
And then Hobbs and Shaw after that.
Yeah.
Spin-off.
Well, I just remember he absolutely dominated. You look at him versus Vin Diesel, and you're just like,
Yeah, well, there's Vin Diesel was like a charisma black hole compared to him in those movies. I think he can do good stuff, and I've enjoyed him in stuff in the past. But just recently, I really didn't like Black Adam. I didn't like this.
Black Adam was average. I honestly don't. I can't think of a movie where he's done very well.
Yeah.
Like
So-
maybe back in the day, like Welcome to the Jungle and stuff. You don't really take. But even I reckon if I watch those again, maybe I'll appreciate them a bit more.
Yeah.
He also didn't look as massive then. Like
Yeah, he was a bit more.
he wasn't
lean,
on
yeah.
such a ridiculous steroid schedule.
I think that's the thing. Like, he's such a huge bloke. Like, you could only cast this guy in like limited roles because he's huge.
Yeah.
He's not a normal guy.
I mean, it's not like he's trying to audition for roles where he's the lead in a romantic comedy or something. He's always going to be the action blockbuster type.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for that, I think
Yeah.
he's always going to make sure that he's in the best shape he's always going to be in. But I reckon,
I think he needs like a standout franchise because you would say if you say Fast and Furious is his claim to fame, that's not his franchise. That's
not,
Vin
yeah.
Diesel's franchise.
But also when he got introduced, like Fast 5 is when they started to become good.
Yeah, but still, it will always be Vin Diesel's franchise. It won't be him.
Yeah, of course.
So he probably needs.
I think
He
needs
needs a
Fast.
thing.
Yeah, because
My-
it was Black Adam's done. So
Yes.
that's-
My prediction is that he's probably going to stick to Disney and he's going to try and pitch for a Maui spin-off from Moana.
Yeah, I can see him doing that.
Because
Yeah,
it plays
yeah.
to his strengths. He's Tongan, he's a Pacific Islander background. He's built, he's bodybuilding, and that character is like very heroic. It's
I
basically
guess
just The
from
Rock.
an
Pretty
acting.
tough.
It was written for The Rock, essentially.
Yeah.
But a Maui spin-off, like Yeah, I mean, like, you really need to come up with a great storyline, or else it's not going to work. Like,
Yeah.
the whole character of Maui it's great because of Moana's character, right? And that whole
Yeah. Or in the very first film was the fact that his power was stripped away from him, so he needed Moana in order to realize who he really was, and that he was this fatal hero archetype.
Yeah.
Moana 2, I don't know where that's going to go, but it'd be nice to see him like a Buzz Lightyear spin-off, like just him doing his own thing with Pixar.
You think that was good?
Pixar does it
Apparently,
always.
it was one of the worst things ever made.
Lightyear's been
I haven't
terrible.
seen it.
Have you seen
Oh
it?
no, not the Lightyear standalone film. I mean like the Lightyear TV series. They with Pixar they always do this where they start the movies off with like a tag team bunch of characters, and they just get the formula perfect. And when people go apeshit over it, they then experiment with like taking each character individually. Like Finding Nemo did amazingly well. Then literally like 10 years later they did Finding Dory.
Yeah.
Or with Toy Story, there's a bunch of spin-offs there. Then you have like I wish they did one for Bug's Life, but they did one later on for Monsters Inc. So they focused the first movie you could see, the first one technically focused on Mike's story. Sorry, Mike, Sully, everyone, the whole gang, and then the second one was more Mike's childhood and his kind of upbringing and how he made friends. So I reckon they could do it not just for The Rock. It could just be to be like to focus on this hero. And if people really resonate with
they
it,
got to write it very well. I don't think the character by itself lends itself to a spin-off, but
The thing is, he's got a lot of money, so he will fund whichever movies that
does
he. Yeah,
does he have that's my only question is how much money? Yeah, he was the highest paid for a while,
Yep.
yeah.
but
He's
he have
he's
the-
also got a
just being the highest paid actor doesn't mean you have enough budget to be a proper
he's got his own
production house.
production company.
Okay, so
Doesn't
he
he
has
have like a tequila
He's
thing
got
as well?
tequila, yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's got like an energy drink. He's got
But he wouldn't make his I don't know.
Yeah. He's,
But I still
he's
reckon
rich.
you need. He's rich. Of course, he's rich.
I reckon it'll be fine.
And he's also he did that
Maybe
ballers.
he's-
He did that ballers show for
Ah, yeah.
for however
That's
many
right. That
years,
made
yeah.
him money.
yeah
I think that's actually when he peaked, isn't it?
yeah
Like probably the highest paid actor was around that time.
yeah. I don't even know if that show's still going, but
That-
yeah, interesting. This is not good though. I wouldn't recommend it.
So how Christmassy is it?
It's very Christmassy. It's
Santa themed.
It's Santa. Yeah, Santa's the main part of it, and lots of Santa lore around it. The Krampus part was actually decent. If you just want to watch that part, that's you.
That guy's not bad. That Tormund actor.
Yeah.
All right, I better change. It seems that all your movies are pretty high budget.
That's not high budget.
No,
But-
mine was low
Yeah, but
budget.
it has
Yeah.
famous. Bro,
Yeah.
I don't know who the hell is in the movie.
All right, let's go.
All right, so,
What's yours?
all right, so I was looking through Netflix and I was looking at all these movies. None of them impressed me, and I thought I'd just choose the most. Can I say that? Yeah, most fucking retarded movie that I can see. So there's a movie called Christmas at Mistletoe Farm, and that's legitimately what it is. So there's a family, there's a dad, his wife's dead. He has 5 kids.
Yeah.
What I will say is all 5 kids look like they were born definitely within the 9-month gap, but they're all from the same mother.
What is the name of the all the same age?
So they just popped them out. They popped them out one by one.
I don't know how this pregnancy worked.
Wait, so which era is this set in?
It's today.
Oh,
Current, okay.
It's an English family.
Okay.
They're in some place in England. I don't even know if it's London. The dad is he works for some I think some advertising studio or something like that. Okay. And his life is just a total fucking wreck. He has all these kids, legitimately, they're all within 3 grades of each other. He has 5 kids. They're all within grade 1, 2, and 3. This guy clearly he doesn't know how to take care of his family. There's all these kids all have issues. And one kid is just obsessed. One of the boys is obsessed with wearing sparkly things and calling things incorrect names. And that in itself seems very chaotic for this guy to deal with, let alone the rest of the kids. And essentially the movie starts off with this guy trying to get his kids ready. And he apparently every day drops them off half an hour late to school. And then one day this random mailman comes, gives him a letter, and essentially the letter says,
You're evicted.
close to. This guy's already struggling with his finances. And then he's told that his estranged father has left him Mistletoe Farm as part of his, what do you call it? His inheritance, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
And then at work, there's some project coming up and it's a real tough project. And so he decides the best course of action is for the whole family to move to Mistletoe Farm while he goes to the farm and also tries to attack this project. Why that is a logical conclusion of like, I have this project coming up based in the main city. So then I will go to this farm and try and take over this farm and also work on this advertising new deal. I don't know, but I think this guy has issues and it just all comes out. So go to this
Is he an
farm.
absentee father or is he pregnant?
No. All his kids are there. He's the dad of the family.
Okay, but he's not like a bad father.
No, he's just shit. He's not bad. He's shit.
As a father or like a...
As a person, or
Just in general. He's shit. He's shit as a dad is in like he can't get it together.
Okay.
But he's not bad.
But he's
dad.
trying.
His intentions. Yeah, he has
He's-
good
yeah.
intentions.
Okay, so
yeah.
if
He's
we
just a klutz. He's
if
a
we
klutz.
count the movies, did your one have a bad dad in it? Was he a bad dad?
No, I think it was a pretty good.
Okay, so we've got 2 bad dad movies.
Wait, what? What, you guys?
No, my one was a bad dad movie and your one's a bad dad movie.
No, he's not bad dad. He's a shit dad.
Yeah, well, it's the same
Was
thing.
your dad evil?
It's somewhat. Yeah, he's like a hacker. He
Absentee father.
absentee father. Yeah.
No, this guy's not. He's not absentee. He's just shit at doing what he needs to do.
He's on the naughty list.
he's a
My dad
klutz.
was on the naughty list.
No, this guy's a fucking idiot. That's it. He's just an idiot, right? Okay. Anyway, they rock up to this farm, and there's no running water,
Okay.
so he's already screwed. He puts all these kids in the room and just pretends. He just hopes that they're just gonna figure it out, and all these kids are like under the age of like 8. So I don't know how he expects them all to just like figure it out. And they've suddenly moved to a new place. And
Can
then
he work remotely?
huh?
Can he work remotely?
I bloody hope so. No, and then he discovers that he has. Well, there's definitely no Wi-Fi. He discovers that very quickly. So I'm like, they never really reach a conclusion with how he gets over this problem. But there's
Data.
no Wi-Fi, and he's using a computer. So where he's just
Hotspot.
writing Word documents and not sending it to anyone. And then
He's
on
writing
top of that,
James messages to no one.
yeah, he's sending it to himself. They have all these animals at this farm, Mistletoe Farm, and it's called Mistletoe Farm because there's mistletoe growing everywhere. And I guess like his dad, he goes there. He's had an estranged father. So there's the shit.
Oh, so there is a bad. Well,
There is a bad dad.
yeah.
And turns out his dad's dead. So he gets this farm. And then he has all these animals, and all of them are pregnant. He doesn't know how to. They're all pregnant, and
Are they all pregnant?
they're all pregnant because
That seems like an awful coincidence.
Some animals going around. Crossbreeding doesn't work, bro.
Yeah, is this Jurassic Park? all,
There's
all the-
no
all the-
Asian guy just breeding velociraptors.
there are no male animals. They're all female.
But essentially, it's a weird situation. And for some reason, he keeps thinking that developing and maintaining this farm is somehow going to be great for him, even though he has this project. It all goes to shit. He's like, Lamb has multiple kids. His kids are cooked and they're all struggling. He enrolls his kids at a school where the teacher has never taught before. And this is the first, there's a school there, but it has no children. And suddenly by him being there, they now have children at the school. So this whole place is just a ruckus. Like it's all just stupid.
There wouldn't
Like
be
the
a
five-
school if there was no children at the school.
No, so the school is established, but there's no students.
No, but that wouldn't exist.
No,
So
correct.
what? They're just paying people to just sit there.
There's a teacher who then subsequently rejoices at the fact she finally has students.
So what's she been doing up till now?
I fucking
Is she
know.
getting paid?
I don't know. They don't resolve these questions, right? And also,
Oh, she's gonna marry. She's gonna get with the dude.
no, she's like 16.
What?
She's like really young. She's like really young. So I'm also like, so what happened before you were a teacher? Anyway, so this whole town is absolute ruckus. All these animals are giving birth. It interrupts his work all the time because the farmhand keeps interrupting him, saying, "Oh man, this goat's giving birth now." So then this guy tries to deliver all these kids, literally kids. While the kids are watching, he's so bad at delivering the kids that his kids actually deliver the kids, they're like 8 years old. If they're better at delivering animals,
Veterinary
you have problems because you suck. And then he falls,
He's not a vet.
and then he falls in love with the vet.
Oh, okay.
No, the vet.
Falls in love with the vet.
And the vet is
Throughout this time, he hates the farm so much he tries to sell it to property developers. This is in the middle of fucking buttfuck nowhere. So why some property developers want to come buy this farm and put some random building on it, I will never know. but it becomes a
With
massive.
oil.
Yeah, this is that Daniel Day-Lewis. What's it called? That's a great movie, but
no,
something about
it's
blood.
not. There will be blood.
There
yeah.
will be blood.
Yeah.
That's a fantastic
Yeah,
movie.
yeah.
This unfortunately is not a fantastic movie.
So is this.
And so this all happened, and so it's still only halfway, right?
Oh shit, man.
And so then eventually these property developers come, and so his kids start pegging literal shit at the property developers and eggs, and they make them run away.
Because they want to
Subsequently,
stay.
the farmhand dresses up like him, goes to London, presents his project, fails, then gets the property developers, brings them back because he wants the farm sold, and then the dad realizes he wanted the farm the whole time. That's the end of the movie.
Wait. So
Wait.
he
No, there will not
farm-
be an explanation.
the farmhand went to do the presentation.
Correct. Why? I don't know.
Why
The
did he
guy
know?
literally is a farmhand, and he's employed by the fact that it continues to be a farm. So he decided that he would go to help this guy sell the farm. Why? I'll never know. Essentially, yeah. So that's the end of the movie. So
So
Does
the
he
kids
marry
want to stay. That's why they're preventing the property.
look, the kids will have a great time regardless. But yes, the kids want to stay. So
Okay.
he's like, "Oh, we'll stay." There's mistletoe everywhere, so he kisses the vet.
Okay.
I was-
yeah.
See?
Interesting.
Kisses the vet. The whole
Well,
the
I
whole-
was
the whole
hoping.
town kind of gets around it because it's this English farm, but this movie is a whole lot of nothing.
Is the farm in England?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's in England.
Yeah.
Somewhere out in the
The
Alps.
fact that it's mistletoe farm, I was going to expect that there would be someone kissing at some
So the whole time they do this little tease sometimes where there's like mistletoe growing and like, but it's weird. Like you can't go up to someone and be like, "Oh, look."
Hey,
It's like I was visualizing as you were explaining it because it just sounds so fantastical. I was imagining like a Bob the Builder style 3D CGI film,
That would be better.
like little characters moving around.
They
and
would have
having,
spent more money on that.
It was live action. It's full live action.
It's 2022.
2022. Okay.
Yeah.
Same year as something from Tiffany's. What a year of Christmas.
My movie
movies.
is still better than your movie.
I don't know.
But my
I think,
movie
I
is
think
shit.
surprisingly, my movie is the best movie up till now.
Out of these three,
so
that's
good.
wild.
This is like in
Wild.
context, it's like PG rated or G rated. The dad is a good actor. But like he's just a dumbass the whole time, and it's just chaos.
I
And
think they purposefully write dads now as being like bumbling idiots that don't know how to do
that
anything.
dad, yeah, that is a character of the film, I guess.
Most dads in Hollywood are. There's not one competent dad in Hollywood in like decades.
The farmhand is like a comedic actor, and that's just full chaos as well. It's just all over the place, this movie. For some reason, everyone is obsessed with trying to get the dad with the vet, but like they'll never explain why. They're like, "Oh, let's get these two together." And then finally, it actually somehow works, and you just don't really know why.
Interesting.
So how Christmassy is it?
10 out of 10.
Really, very Christmassy.
The whole time, it's about Christmas.
Okay. Yeah.
Which kind of makes me question what is Christmas because there's all these there's like no clear
The
messages
birth of
behind this.
Christ.
The birth of Christ. That's
what-
the literal meaning.
that's it.
Christmas.
More Christ. That's literally what it means.
It just sounds like families that have dysfunctional relationships with parent children, and then
The
they
tropes.
Well, that often
somehow
is
wind it up.
that often is Christmas.
The
with the
tropes
message
of the
of-
Christmas movies always family drama and then
marriage.
But I think that's like legit a lot of people's lives, full stop.
Yeah.
They all end up meeting, and it's like, oh no, we shouldn't have done this.
yeah, or Christmas like
A lot of people don't like it.
yeah,
I mean, like,
especially like big extended families.
I'm talking about like
yeah.
white people. They do
Yeah.
like they tend to do like a big meeting, and sometimes it causes,
Yeah, it's a
I
family.
don't know, it's not a big thing for
A lot of
us, I
people
guess.
try to avoid the
Christmas
dinners and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like Thanksgiving, but the the
Even
the
Thanksgiving,
issue-
same
yeah.
sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving,
Obviously,
when's Thanksgiving?
November 29th.
Oh, so it's not that far off Christmas.
It's like a month before.
And when's Halloween? October 31st.
31st. Well, you got one more left.
Thank
The
you for
last
making
one.
me watch that film, guys.
Yeah. So I feel like
I
this
can't believe you watched that whole. Did you watch Double Speed?
No,
We'll
I
see.
actually slowed it down because I couldn't keep up with the decision making by the father.
0.25.
I thought I had a bad experience, but geez, you guys.
Mine was
yeah.
bad.
Your one sounds worse.
Bro, you would have had a good experience.
Home Alone, I'll be honest, that's like when I think of a Christmas movie, that's the quintessential Christmas movie for me. Home Alone is
Are you
just
doing
like
one or two?
just one. First one is like the OG. Second one is good. Some people say it's better.
I really like the second one.
The second one is the same movie as the first one. It's just
Except
in New
it's
York.
It's in New
Yeah.
York, and I
It's
think
not the same. I don't think it's the same. It's
It's
better.
pretty
Actually,
much the
it's-
same.
It's a bit different.
It is better.
It's a little bit different in terms of instead of having a guy, it has a chick who likes
Yeah,
birds.
but it's like someone else's house.
Same formula, but they kind of level up
It's
everything.
someone, yeah, it is someone,
Someone else's house,
Oh,
and they go to like a department store.
Department
they do all
store,
this
and
other
they actually up the end.
and it's New York. New York is sick.
Yeah.
That's the first one where it actually makes New York seem like a romantic Christmas destination.
Whoa.
Like as a place.
Why'd you watch Kevin and think that was a romantic?
No,
Why?
Michael
no,
Jackson.
Him and the pigeon chick.
I'm talking about the pigeon chick. Who are you talking about? Like, I want to get with Pigeon Girl. No. But the first one is not based in New York. It's based in Chicago.
Chicago, yeah.
And
Chicago.
it's set in the
Suburb.
Christmas of 1990. So this is
Absentee
like
father.
no, actually, it's absentee father
Absentee family, bro.
Absentee family. Yeah.
literally fucking everyone,
Yeah.
right? But like this, the reason why this actually has such a cult standing, I'm sure we've all seen it. I don't think there's a person who hasn't seen Home Alone. It's like it takes us all back to a simpler time, 1990. You know, Christmas of 1990. You know,
Before I was born.
Was it 1990?
1990. So
Yeah.
pre video game technology.
10 years after you were born, mate.
Yeah, pre smartphones, pre everything. We were actually we were like toddlers at that time, but I remember
I didn't think I
Well,
saw
do you not remember the release of this movie?
no, we only saw it when we were like 10 years old or something.
I think I actually saw 2 first. So 2,
Right.
when did 2 come out?
1994.
1994.
94, yeah.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
think
yeah.
I saw
I've seen
2.
two way more than I've seen one.
Yeah, so I think I saw 2 first, and then I saw 1 after that. Yeah.
Yeah. So the whole thing is like it's set in a big massive, and again, a whole massive family living in this house. So you have 3 brothers, you know, Rob, Frank, and I think Perry or something. And each of them have their own families, and they all have like 4 kids each, and they all come and stay in one big house, which is the McAllisters. That's the main guy, Matt.
They're all a bunch of assholes as well.
All the
I feel like, right?
the film is shot from the perspective sometimes of Kevin,
Yeah.
who is, you know, he's the 6-year-old boy who's like he's not the youngest of the younger sibling, but he's the second last sibling. So everyone in the family.
There's that
Actual
guy that
younger
keeps
brother.
drinking Coke.
That's
Yeah, that's his brother.
That's his actual brother.
That's his
right?
brother. That's,
Yeah,
That
he's
guy's
in
Succession.
Yeah.
Yeah.
obviously, so
Yeah.
Macaulay
What's his
Culkin.
name is Kieran Culkin.
Kieran Culkin.
Yeah.
They cast both of them.
And essentially, it's like the same character in Succession, which is the funny part.
There's
It's
another
a little runt.
Little runts. They're both runts.
There's another
essentially.
Culkin as well.
There's a
third
There's
one.
a third one.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's in the film.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
dead.
But like literally everyone is basically just shitting on Kevin. No one listens to him. No one hears what he wants. He even
Buzz.
says like,
Buzz,
but,
yeah.
so he's got all the elder siblings bully him. It's not just Buzz that bullies him.
Yeah.
Like the sisters are like, you know,
Yeah, that's true.
like they're all planning a trip to France, the whole family, right? And she's in high school. She's learning French. Like,
No, they go
"You're
to
what the-"
Miami. They go to Miami.
Florida, right? They go to Florida.
They go
in
to
this one.
Miami in this
In
one.
the
They go to
second one,
France
they go
in
to
the second
France.
Second
one.
one
Yeah.
go to France. Oh, that's
Yeah.
why she's like, you're what the French call les incompetents.
Because they go to
Is that the second one?
They go,
Second one, second
Yeah, yeah, that's
They go
the
to
Yeah,
second
because they go to
Miami.
international, and
Yeah.
he gets split
Yeah,
there.
yeah. So this one they go to Miami, right?
because they're going there to have the sun, but then when they end
then
up
it ends
getting
up
there,
raining. Yeah.
it rains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, they changed destination because Frank booked the accommodation. So Frank is the second brother, and he's like a cheapskate. The main guy, Kevin's dad, he's the guy who actually hosts everyone, and he's very wealthy. And when I mean very wealthy, it's like imagine having like 15 kids and booking tickets for every one of them to go somewhere. That's how rich this guy is, right?
Oh, did he book it?
so
he
no,
books
he
it?
initially booked the thing.
Oh my
But
god,
then
he
when-
books the accommodation. It's like that.
Yeah, but the second brother books the actual accommodation.
that's the worst deal ever.
And it's like this like backwater Louisiana motel. They get there and everyone's just like shocked. But that's jumping ahead to the mid part of the film. What happens is the whole family is meant to go to a Christmas trip, and they're meant to spend, you know, Christmas and New Year's at this really fancy place in Miami. Everyone's getting ready. The whole house is like hectic. And the police kind of just knock in and kind of check in on the families and then just make sure, you know, if you're going on holiday,
Real
make sure you put your lights on and, you know, is there anyone in charge? Can I speak to someone? Can you just let people know that there's a bit of a crime heavy period in time? And this is obviously played by Joe Pesci, right? That's how you first see him as a cop coming into this house. Classic actor Joe Pesci from Goodfellas and, you know, of notoriety. He did Goodfellas before this. And the story of how he got cast in this is really interesting. But he agreed to do the film, but he had some conditions on how he would perform. And he just basically just played himself. He didn't play any character. He just played himself. He just wasn't allowed to swear because it's a kid's film, obviously.
I feel like back then actors were happy doing like a variety of stuff, right?
Yeah.
They didn't have this bullshit kind of pride where, oh, I did the Goodfellas. Now I just need to do like
just prestige.
hardcore mafia prestige movies.
Yeah.
This guy was like, fuck it, I'll do Home Alone.
I don't know if this film was seen as this potential lucrative opportunity to get a lot of money because there was no way they could have predicted how popular it was going to become. right? It was
But
directed
it is directed by
Chris Columbus.
Chris Columbus.
Which-
But
yeah.
yeah.
at that time was
is it?
was a
The
relatively
Harry
unknown.
Potter guy, the guy who cooked
No.
it.
So this was
First
He
was
did the
Harry Potter.
first. He did the first two.
first two,
Oh,
but
first two.
at that time, Chris Columbus was relatively unknown, right?
Yeah.
And it was the music was going to be composed by the guy who did Star Wars, John Williams. At that point, John Williams wasn't like a cult classic. He was in the 90s.
I didn't even realize John Williams did Home Alone.
He did Home
Yeah,
Alone.
he
He
did
It's
did Home
such
Alone.
classic Christmas.
And,
Yeah,
and,
it's-
and
yeah.
I've got a really interesting little
like
tidbit
waving
about.
my head just thinking.
He actually used the score of Home Alone to design the score for Harry Potter.
I think there's definitely similarities.
Yeah.
There's similarities, and every time when
The
we
Harry
first had,
Potter theme is just a Christmas theme, isn't it?
that's exactly what I
There's
said.
lots of
Yeah.
Christmassy.
Yeah.
All the
when-
Hedwig
elements.
stuff is
Yeah.
Christmassy.
Yeah.
It's all like,
Well, when Sravan was telling me, or you think of a film, my first choice was actually Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone because I just felt like that's a very Christmassy film.
Yeah.
And I remember your reaction was like, "Oh, that's interesting. Christmas is in the film, but it's actually it's a magical film about like schooling."
I guess what makes it.
I was on the verge of reviewing Harry Potter 7.
Yeah,
Yes.
but the reason
But it needs to be. It needs to be an absentee father.
There is.
He's
absentee
dead.
parents.
Yeah.
but the reason why I thought Philosopher's Stone was Christmassy because of Home Alone.
Yeah.
Right? Because the production was so similar, the soundtrack was similar, and guess who the producer for Home Alone was? Anyone know?
Like executive.
Radcliffe,
like a-
right?
Yeah, Mark Radcliffe.
Mark Radcliffe,
Dan
yeah.
Radcliffe's father. And that's actually how Dan got cast. He just said, "Oh, I have a boy, cast him."
Nepotism.
Well, not exactly, but
It is true though. It is. There was a lot of nepotism with
there
this whole
was, there
casting
was.
thing.
But it was well deserved because J Lo,
it's
J-Lo,
J-Lo.
not J-Lo. Fucking what did I say?
J-Lo's in this.
J-Lo.
Damn.
J.K. Rowling looked at Dan and was like, "Yeah, that's Harry in my head." Like, not even a question. She didn't question it. But
Which doesn't make any sense because the book's clearly, literally written as messy jet black hair,
Messy Jet Black.
and she's like, "Oh, straight, long brown hair, perfect."
Yeah.
Nepotism.
Nepotism. But the whole vibe of the film is mysterious. Even the opening credits, I watch it again, it's just mysterious. You don't really know what's happening. And it kind of hones in on this kind of childhood fear of ours that we all had at one point of like, what if we were misplaced or our parents forgot us or we were just home alone, by ourselves. This cop that came in is actually a thief. And he's basically just kind of canvassing for properties to rob during Christmas time because no one's home. And you see him later rock up with his sidekick Marv, right? And he's in the van. He's like, look, everyone's away on holidays and they've all got timers on their lights. This address is going to go on at 7:30. Click, lights go on. This one, 7:32. Lights go on. This one, 7:33. So they're kind of timing all the houses. And this guy says, but the McAllister house, that's the bounty. That's like the prize. That's got everything we need. That's the biggest house. So we're going to hit that on Christmas Eve.
It's funny that these families just like, they couldn't give a shit about letting everyone know what they're going to do during Christmas. It's pretty sad.
But it's the cops.
But I think this was a time, even this was pre 9/11. Like there was no sense of like overt security. You know what I mean? Just put timer
Yeah.
lights on, lock your front doors.
9/11.
Dude, their garage wasn't even closed. Like the actual family didn't even close the garage when they went on holiday. It was just open and the cars were there. So
I guess
it's like,
it's a safe neighborhood.
yeah, they call it safe neighborhood. Irony now is you go to that same street in Chicago, every house is like fenced off and shit.
Oh.
Yeah. So yeah, time.
Oh, they used like a real street.
It's a real street, real house. They actually filmed in the house. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So the day comes and all the family's meant to travel, and before the day, that evening, there's like a whole dinner scene, and like all the kids are making a mess, and parents have got passports here and there. They're traveling, organizing, and Kevin
Passports.
wants.
No passports.
Was it not the? Oh, I keep thinking number 2.
Yeah.
No passports. Kevin wants is a slice of pizza.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
He just wants a slice of cheese pizza, and they order food. All the parents and them, they don't really like. This was a time also when like parents didn't really. There was not much attention paid to every individual child.
Wait, no. He wants the ice cream, and then they tell him to eat the pizza first. Yeah, and
Something
then,
like that. But then
yeah.
Buzz gets the last
The
slice.
Oh no,
Yeah,
maybe
yeah,
it is. Yeah.
It's like
yeah,
so.
yeah.
Kevin says specifically, I told you guys to save me a slice, and
That's
Buzz is
right,
like,
yeah.
oh wait, maybe I can just like hock it up and you can eat the leftovers, and he really fucks him up. Like mentally, so Kevin gets pissed off. That's when he like Kevin actually just tried to push, he tries to push him off, and then it bumps everyone down the corridor. And I think it wasn't passports,
Is that the
but it was
first
like
one or the second one?
tickets where they accidentally spilled Coke on the tickets, and they end up like wiping it and throwing it in the bin
Because they
with
do
that-
take flights. Yeah, they
Yeah, they
think
take flights.
They
yeah,
take flights. So for this one,
yeah,
they had
yeah.
for some reason they had some documentation, and one of them they cleaned up the mess and they just threw it in the bin, and in that was like Kevin's ticket or something, so they missed it in that process. Kevin essentially has a spat with everyone in the room. He just calls out Uncle Frank, and he finally just tells her, like, I don't want to see any of you. I hope you all disappear from my life. No one cares about me. And he has a tantrum.
And his mum tells him.
And his mum tells him, you're going to sleep in the attic today.
Go to the attic.
Go to the attic. Why, there's a bed in the attic. You're going to sleep in there. And the best line in the film for me is just like, his mum says, you're going to sleep in here and I don't want to see you for the rest of the night. And then Kevin looks back like, I don't want to see you for the rest of my life. Like, that's a burn. And then she's like, I hope you don't mean that, because sometimes wishes have ways of coming true. And that's when this like mystic like wind comes in and he goes to sleep and the power gets blown out and the clock that the parents are sleeping gets reset. And all these mystical forces. Yeah.
Oh, because of that. That's right.
Because the alarm doesn't go off.
Alarm doesn't go off. So the next morning, obviously, they miss the alarm. The courier company's knocking on the door. The flight's in like literally an hour. And no one's woken up. Everyone just wakes up in a rush, mad. They realize, oh shit, we messed up.
They all rely on this father to wake them all up.
Yeah, no one has individual.
This legitimately, like, this family's useless.
Well, no, that's the thing. It's
bunch of gimps.
So there's no alarm clocks. Everybody just woke up late. Everyone just helter skelter, get in the van. Neighbor kid comes poking around in the van. And so the biggest sibling's just counting. All the kids are here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Counts the neighbor kid and thinks that's Kevin, and just goes right off. And then
is the neighbor kid there?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's a device just so that he can.
just saying bye.
Is that quintessential annoying kid? I remember there was a kid like that in your school.
Yeah, we had one. Yeah,
Andrew.
In case
Andrew, if you're watching, man, message on the.
He wasn't annoying. He was nice.
Yeah, he was nice.
It was nice, but he run him this kid.
You were annoying.
It was always so. Everyone in the house leaves, gets on the vans, leaves the house in a rush, locks the doors, out.
And obviously they've forgotten Kevin.
Yeah,
but the background score in that scene, I always remember that because they repeat it in the second one as well. The you'll know the one.
La baby.
Yeah. More or less.
You're not making the edit.
More or less. That's the first time you hear the theme, right?
Yeah.
And you just see Kevin walking out alone, and he's like, he genuinely thinks that he made his family disappear because he didn't hear a peep, he didn't hear a sound. Everyone's just gone the next morning, right? And even he walks out and he goes, "Oh, the cars are still here." So everyone just must have disappeared. Oh shit, I made everyone disappear. So he's in the phase where he's like in this dream reality. He's enjoying everything. He's watching movies he should be watching. He's eating ice cream out of the container and chips.
He makes that shower with his uncle.
What's it?
What are those movies
that's
he
the
watches?
second one. It's Dark Angels.
Is it?
No, Angels
Second
with
one?
Angels with Filthy Souls.
Yeah,
Filthy Souls.
Yeah.
Something
What is that
Angels.
movie?
It's that movie that he watches.
I think it's just Angels with Filthy
Is
Souls.
it a porno?
No. It's called like Dirty Angels with Filthy Souls. The funny thing is that movie that he's watching was
It's not
made specifically for Home Alone.
Oh, okay.
It was like made to be like this typical like gangster 40s violent film that
And
was
they made
It's
a
Angels
sequel.
with Filthy Souls.
yeah, Angels and
They made a sequel for the second one.
Angels with Filthier Souls.
Even filthier. Souls.
Yeah.
Filthier Souls.
Because that's the Merry Christmas, you filthy animals.
Yeah.
That's
That's
the second
one.
one.
the
How
second
much do
one.
I
Yeah.
owe you? Yeah. I'm gonna give you to the count of three.
But like doesn't he do like the whole setup of like
That's the
some...
second one.
That's
Second
the
one.
second one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really? He doesn't do that in the first one? Oh man. That's why the
But they
second one's so
record-
much more iconic, isn't it?
He records his uncle in the shower, right?
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the second one. Yeah.
Yeah. In the first one, what he does is that he sets all this stuff on like a motorized train set, and he puts like a model of Michael Jordan on it, so it looks like silhouettes are passing
and
through
they're
windows.
dancing. It's like people
Yeah,
dancing.
yeah.
That's right.
So this kid's doing everything by himself. He's going to the shops. He's having a good time. We've got like him doing all this stuff, and he's really confident. He's almost overconfident. He's like buying groceries, buying toothpaste, having conversations with the cashier, and then he comes back. To the two robbers, right? The wet bandits. They name themselves because they start robbing the houses because they're all empty, and they just leave the taps on because that's their signature way of saying, "Oh, you've been struck by the wet bandits." So they finally come back to this house, and they're like, "It should be empty, but it looks like someone's still in the house. It looks like people are still in the house." And when Kevin starts to realize that there's someone kind of canvassing around the property, and he gets scared the first time, he kind of that's when he comes back in the house, turns all the lights on, puts the train on or something, and makes it look like there's a lot of people in the house discoing and partying. So these guys get confused and like, "Oh, I don't know, there's still people here. Let's go." So Kevin's kind of like, he's okay for a little bit, and then the thieves keep coming back to check. They finally realize this kid's home alone. He's just making it look like there's people in the house. So that's when
the title of the film.
yeah.
Oh shit, man! I never realized.
Home Alone.
So Kevin then starts to get real like scared, and he starts to track back on his wishes, and he has having these moments of like, well, I wish I didn't wish my brothers, my cousins, and all that to disappear. I wish he came back, but nothing happens. So there's another kind of character that the brothers introduce him to, which is the man who shovels the snow, and they create this really dark backstory that he murdered his kids and something, and he buries their ashes on the street and covers it with snow. He scares the shit out of Kevin. But every time Kevin kind of tries to get out and confront his fears, he's met in the street by this snowman. This not snowman. He's a guy who shovels snow, old dude, and he just gets scared shitless every time he sees this guy. Last time he sees him, Kevin on Christmas Eve, he goes to church just to kind of wish and make a prayer on Christmas Eve, and he meets this guy, this old gentleman who has been scaring the shit out of Kevin. And the old gentleman walks over and just says, Merry Christmas. And then Kevin's like, okay. You're not the monster that everyone's been telling me about. So they bring this guy down.
Stranger danger, wrong.
He's going to mute his mic during this part.
This was pre-stranger danger. This was like, if you have a problem, run to someone you know or looks friendly. But this guy is just like, look, I'm just, my granddaughter is in your class. She's up there singing and I'm not allowed to visit her because I
told you, he's not allowed to visit her.
No, because he
I can't be within 50 meters of a children's hospital.
Ironically,
it's absentee father stuff. Isn't
absentee grandfather stuff.
Because his son doesn't let him.
Well, that's absentee father squared.
His son, he's having a spat with his son. They haven't talked with each other in like years or something. So
I need to get some coke. You keep going.
Yeah. So they don't talk. But he tells him, listen, you need to. They both have a nice little conversation, and Kevin helps him with some stuff and saying you should just call his son and talk to him. And the old man helps Kevin to say, you got to stand up to your bullies, and just every family has got its quirks, and just they both help each other. So Kevin goes home motivated, and he's going to be like, I'm not going to take this. I'm going to fight. I'm going to save my house, and I'm going to protect everyone. And that's the kind of quintessential moment where he starts sketching up this whole plan to protect the house. So he's got all these little traps set up, and he starts booby trapping the whole house. And the
I
thieves
like the background score during his setup.
Yes, the background score for this setup. Now, this is the theme that is very, very reminiscent of what they eventually used for Hedwig's theme. So the theme for when Kevin's making the whole plan, like dun 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 dun
Yes.
dun 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 dun. Now the Harry Potter theme is dun 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 dun. It's like the same progression. So John Williams actually says, like, he never admits it, but I seriously think he just kind of like was trying to think of a young boy in a very isolated place. Joe Pesci and I forgot the other guy's name, Harry. They both come in, and this is where it comes into its full comedic, flight. Slapstick comedy. Finally, did you know that Home Alone was referred to as a comedy back then?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
It is. I would say it is.
It was a comedy. I thought it was like a family film, but everyone thinks comedy. This is where it's like,
I would say it's mainly like a slapstick comedy.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's probably the best
Probably
executed.
like the OG slapstick.
Oh yeah.
Oh, no. OG slapstick is
Oh,
like
but I mean,
black and white.
black and
like
white
Charlie
stuff.
Chaplin's OG slapstick.
Yeah, Charlie Chaplin.
But I mean, like,
what are the three?
semi-modern.
What are those three dudes? The three.
Laurel and Hardy.
Laurel
Yeah, those,
Hardy,
those guys. Yeah.
Buster Keaton.
Buster Keaton.
Buster
Yeah,
Keaton,
yeah,
Charlie Chaplin.
yeah.
But these guys are like, it's not like comedic in that sense. It's more like to kind of take the tension off this kid being alone and thieves about to rob the house. Kids will be watching this, would have been like scared. I remember I was like a little bit tense and scared watching this first, but the whole idea of these thieves getting their hands literally burnt by the handle being like inflamed up to like melting point. The nail on the stair that Harry steps on, they don't shy away from it. It literally goes right through his foot.
Wait, is that second one?
That's the first one.
They do also.
Where Harry comes in the house and he steps on the nail. That's
Is
the
that-
first one.
Yeah.
Is it? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Second
They
one,
blend
is
together.
where he gets hit by the iron.
Oh, the
And then he
brick.
gets
the brick.
electrocuted.
He gets
The brick.
yeah.
Well,
The
he
brick,
comes to
brick is number
bricks,
two.
yeah,
Brick is
yeah.
number
Yeah,
two.
brick's
The
number
first
two.
one
Yeah.
is where Kevin puts like glue on the stairs.
Yeah.
That's right.
Harry
yeah.
is forced to take off his shoes. and
He does. Yeah, yeah.
Doesn't he
yeah.
fall like 4 stories?
That's the
into,
second
like,
That's
one.
the second
That's
one.
the
Yeah,
second one.
yeah.
Yeah,
Where
yeah,
it's like Harry, I'm at the top or whatever, and then
Yeah.
he falls down.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it falls on like flour.
Yeah.
I think.
No, he falls straight on the ground, and then the flower comes and hits him.
Yeah, that's right.
that's the
yeah.
second one.
Yeah.
yeah.
I remember the second one more clearly.
Yeah.
than
After like the
first
first
This one
the
has.
second one
He
is
goes
iconic.
through the window, and there's all the Christmas ornaments on the ground.
on the floor. Yeah. So he just lands on like broken
and
glass.
Lego and stuff.
Lego and
yeah.
cars and-
yeah, yeah.
My favorite one though is the one where, it's just like he goes in and then, the whole sequence of booby traps gets better and better and better, and you always feel like Kevin's one step ahead. Eventually, Kevin creates his escape plan. He finally, gets to the top of the house. Then he flies out into the cubby house and then leaves.
Yeah.
Goes to the house, and he ends up just kind of egging these guys on and on and on. And eventually the thieves kind of catch on.
Mm.
And then like, hold on. He's not going to call the cops from the cubby house. There's no phone line there. So let's go. Kevin runs to the neighbor's house. These guys run to the neighbor's house. And it's flooded because the thieves robbed that house already. And they chase. Kevin goes to the basement, comes in, and he opens the door to get into the main room to call the cops. Thieves are there ready for him. They grab him, and that's when they put him on a hook and start threatening him with all kinds of shit they're going to do to him to get revenge. And then Deus Ex Machina, the snowman dude, comes up.
Snowman.
Yeah, the old man comes up and slaps him with the head with the shovel, saves Kevin, takes him out. By the way, the B story to all this is while Kevin's at home, the parents on route to Miami realize that, oh shit, we left Kevin at home, and they have a panic attack and literally borderline, they pass
Classic
out.
line.
So it's like, Kevin, and then she kind of like,
They
Also-
can't get a flight back because it's Christmas, and
Yeah,
then
and
the
all
mum
the
has
flights
to
are-
do a road trip back.
mum
That's
literally
right.
has
Yeah.
to.
And John
with the
Candy.
team.
is-
John
John
Candy,
Candy's
that's
with
right.
the mum
Yeah.
and saying, "Listen,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
from I forgot what state he
What's
says.
that guy actually famous from?
He's
Just
like
comedy.
he's SNL.
Oh, SNL, is he?
He's
Oh, shit.
OG SNL.
Yeah. okay.
Yeah. He's like a
Yeah.
polka singer in this movie.
I just remember him from Cool Runnings.
He is
Yeah,
in that as
he's a
well.
Cool Runnings.
Yeah.
And so he says, listen, it's Christmas time. We're happy to give you a ride. So it's this nice little kind of, every time there's a beat, it just goes back to the mum in the car, in the van with these polka players in a band that are just taking a van from like, I think it was Florida to Chicago.
Florida,
Yeah, all the way back. So they're doing that. Meanwhile, the rest of the family is in Miami in this
It's raining. Yeah.
like swamp ass backwater motel, and everyone's like, "Oh shit, this is not good." But it comes back to Kevin and them. Final act, they're all saved, and the thieves get arrested. And because they hit every house, they flooded every house they hit. The cops are like, "Now we have a good trail to put you guys behind bars forever." So Kevin
And does
finally
does Kevin meet his mum in the church? Is that what happens in this one?
no Kevin after that whole plan goes off, that's Christmas Day.
Yeah.
And then literally the cops take them away. Kevin goes back inside, and his mum rocks up.
Okay, so she just
rocks
rocks
at the
up.
house.
Home, right?
So she opens the house.
I think that's the
and
New York one.
In
New York, they meet
it's
at the Christmas
Rockefeller.
tree.
I mean,
Yeah.
at Rockefeller Center.
Yeah.
In this one, his mum comes, and then Kevin just comes down the stairs, and they have the reconciliation. It's very touching, nice music. And then Kevin's like, "Where's everyone else?" It's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, dear, they couldn't make it." And then in that moment, everyone comes in the door because they're like, "Oh wow, how did you guys make it on time? Oh, we waited for the flight. The one that you didn't want to wait for." So they all got back in time, and then
Yeah, no, she
His
said
mum's a
done.
dumbass a bit.
yeah, and then
Yeah.
everyone's surprised that the house hasn't burnt down. That Kevin's just survived that for like a couple. I don't know how long, a couple of weeks maybe.
Not a couple of weeks.
It it
couple
felt
of
like it was
days.
at least
2
I think it was
days.
like 3 days.
No, she
yeah.
realizes
3
very
days.
quickly.
Yeah.
It's not a couple of weeks. She doesn't go like.
But how long would it take? How long would it take to drive from Miami to Chicago? Like at least
They took a
2
flight
days.
though.
No,
Oh,
no,
no.
but the mum
But she
tried.
Oh,
drove.
the mum drove.
The mum
yeah.
drove.
They'll be like 2
Oh,
days.
2 days, mate. Yeah.
2 days. 2 days. Maybe
Because
2 days.
Chicago's like middle America, yeah.
Yeah, but
No, it's north.
No, it's north. It's near.
It's called
right next
Midwest.
to
It's out
Midwest.
north. It's like mid-east though.
Illinois is next to Michigan. So
Michigan.
It's quite up high.
It's far. It's far. You'll take
And
at
mine
least
is
2
like
days. Yeah.
way down at the bottom. So,
Yeah. So it felt like a week, but
Maybe,
it could be 2 or
yeah.
3 days.
Yeah.
2 days.
But everyone gets back, and it's a nice reunion, and that's the whole meaning of Christmas. The family's all together, and they all reconcile. And then what's Kevin's cousin's name? The big dude,
Buzz.
Buzz. He
Buzz.
apologizes.
Is he
to Kevin.
cousin?
No,
or
it's
brother?
his brother. It's his brother.
Is it brother? Sorry,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
has a brother. He
Yes.
he
Is
apologizes.
it his brother?
It's his
Yeah,
older
it's his
brother.
brother.
Yeah.
Oh, is it actually?
Because they live in
Yeah.
the same house.
Yeah.
His
No, well,
best
some
friend-
of them are
You,
cousins.
you've got the part with the there's a
Yeah.
tarantula as well.
Oh yeah,
That's Buzz's tarantula.
Buzz's room is a
Yeah.
whole like mixed spot. He's got like a tarantula. It's got photos of his girlfriend, who, funnily enough, was not actually a girl. It was a picture of a boy of one of the producers, and they just made it
What?
look like a girl. You know Buzz's girlfriend. And he was like, "Oh, Buzz's girlfriend, woof!" And he throws it off. The director didn't want to insult any girl, so he just took a picture of one of the boys.
Do you
of
see
the group.
Do you see the picture? I don't
Yeah,
think you ever
yeah.
see it.
You
Oh,
see
okay.
it. It's
That's so
It's
weird.
clearly a guy in like a girl's wig, but it's just meant to look very boyish.
Right.
So they make fun of that. Kevin steals. That's how he gets money as well to go shopping. He just takes Buzz's like.
Yeah, but the tarantula gets loose at one point.
Yeah,
and then-
tarantula gets loose and ends up getting onto like when Harry and them have Kevin by the hand. Kevin reaches over, grabs the tarantula, and then puts it on Harry's face.
That's right. Yeah.
And that's like a hilarious moment where he's just screaming with the tarantula on his face. But yeah, look, it's an amazing movie. And to wrap things up,
Probably the greatest lead up to the actual, like, Like that movie is like the stepping stone to like Home Alone 2, which is like the iconic.
Oh yeah. Because you think
It's
everything's
weird
off.
that an iconic, like number 2 being the iconic movie.
Yeah.
It's that's very rare, right?
Terminator 2.
Terminator 2 is probably the other.
Yeah.
Although
I really
think,
like Terminator 1,
I think a lot of
Captain
people
America,
do
Winter
consider
Soldier.
Home Alone 1 the classic.
but everyone
think-
remembers 2 though.
I don't know. I don't know
I
if
feel
they
like
do.
everyone
think it's
remembers 2.
I think
Even
it's
now, when we
whichever
were
one
talking
you
about
watch.
it.
Yeah.
Everyone,
Whichever one
Merry
you
Christmas,
watch-
you filthy animal. All those lines are from Home
Whichever
Alone
one
2.
you watch first, because they do follow the same beats. So whichever one you watch first, that's the one you're going to remember the most. Because it's either Bird Lady or Shovel Bloke.
Shovel bloke.
It's the New York house or this house. It's the part where he goes shopping at the grocery store, the part where he goes shopping at the toy store.
Toy Store,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's yeah.
Although
it's
in the second one, he does stay at that hotel.
The
Donald
plaza.
Trump's hotel.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
Yeah,
Donald Trump's in the
and
movie.
Donald Trump's in the movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a pretty famous cameo. And
yeah.
I think at that point it was like he actually owned it. So it was like, you can film, but you just got to let me have a cameo.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. And I think in all, it's a very consistent sequel. So everyone thinks of those two movies as like a very, very
They've got
tight
the
kind of
same
universe.
kind of
Same
beat.
music.
Yeah. Same with
yeah.
music. I think but they do everything better. Like even all of the traps are like one step better. They're more lethal.
Yeah.
Like the paint cans. This one has like another beat. So if you watch the first one, the second one you go into, you still have a great time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But I think you'll enjoy the first one more. Because if you watch the first one first, you'd be like, that's the OG. But
I
if
don't
you
know, man. I reckon there's so many things that happen in the second one. Like he's playing pranks on like the hotel staff,
Yeah.
as well as like these.
As well as these.
Oh, true.
yeah.
And he's got more tech. He's got like a voice recorder,
Yeah.
and he's like credit
He
card.
does, like-
He's got
Yeah.
the credit card. Yeah.
So it's like next level.
Yeah.
It gets pretty high. It was the first one.
I prefer the second one as well.
And he
But-
gets room service with all the.
I think
ice cream
everyone.
and-
I think in reality, you always think the first one's a classic, but you're in your head. You're always thinking about the second one.
Yeah. So there's a lot of iconic moments.
Good stuff.
But
Good
it's a
stuff.
quintessential Christmas movie, and I'm going to watch it before Christmas this year. We do it every year, so
I think we can all agree that that's probably the best movie that we've reviewed today.
Mine's number 2,
Yours is number 2.
number
guaranteed.
Don't think so. Your one's dead last.
I'll remember that movie for the rest. of
I don't
the
think I did justice to my movie. Maybe I made it sound worse.
Your one's third last. Definitely.
Third last, so second.
No, it's third. The third.
Not third last on the.
Well, third. Yeah.
Third. Okay. That was a long episode. That was our longest Christmas episode. So I hope you enjoyed that. But we did spend a considerable amount of time talking about each movie, except maybe yours. You did speed through.
so
yours.
I think kudos to Kireeti for actually sticking
Yeah,
to us
you
as
stuck
close
to
I
to the time.
actually really pushed it out.
It'll be interesting to see how much of Kireeti's in this edit at the end. He might just not be in it. Yeah.
I've said some inglorious comments.
All right. If people want to get in touch with us and tell us about their favorite Christmas movie, how do they go about it?
Bogrecal@hotmail.com.
Gmail, but that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cognitive Recalibration Podcast at gmail.com. Yeah.
Say I got it wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leave comments on the Spotify channel if you're listening through Spotify.
can
or-
you?
You can.
Comments?
Yeah. Comments on the
I think
podcast.
you can do Q&A.
that new?
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
new?
I think it's new. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
you can obviously YouTube leave us comments down
Oh,
below
YouTube, of course,
and
yes.
like and subscribe.
Abuse us on Pace of Us All on TikTok
Even though we won't post this particular episode,
Doesn't
on that
matter, I just want
podcast, but
because my H bubble is the worst.
This, once again, you're not making the edit.
You're just trying to ignite.
It's-
You're just trying to ignite the flame more to get more cotton.
No, Sravan will be so tired of editing by then he'll just leave it all in.
I might. So usually that happens towards the end of an episode. But thanks, guys. Thanks for joining us again and making this one of our best episodes for this year, at least. So we'll get you back again.
Oh, yeah.
I think this combination works well.
Look out for Rings of Power. It will come out at some point.
Season 2.
We need to destroy the shit out of that piece of shit.
Hey, look, I'm actually going to rate it. I watched a few episodes. I'm like, I enjoyed it. Nice.
I can't think of a better note to maybe end on. So let's end it there.
Season's greetings, folks.
I hope you're all having a great Christmas. And
Wait, are you guys selling these mugs?
no, we're not. This is a one of a kind. But if you're interested,
I will
We
buy
can-
it off you.
we can definitely
30 paisa.
we can definitely do it.
Nice. We're going to start a merch store.
Yeah, definitely. But Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and hope you're all having a great time with your family.
Merry
During the
Christmas, Happy
festive
Hanukkah,
season.
Happy Kwanzaa.
We'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
See ya.
Yeah, have a good one.